Andrew, summer's just starting and I'm shopping for sandals. What type is actually good for your feet?
So there are certain sandals you can use that's good for your feet, especially if you're wearing outdoor and indoor. Birkenstock will be another one, or Fleesto will be another one. But if you're wearing Birks, there are two versions. There's the soft bed and the hard bed. Both, depending on how you feel when you're putting your foot into them, will determine if you prefer one or the other. Because the soft bed, exactly what it sounds like, it's just softer, so there's a little bit more cushioning, versus the hard bed, which is a little bit more thicker. When you're putting pressure on it, it feels like you're basically walking on something very, very hard.
Are flat slides or thin flip-flops really that bad for daily wear?
So flip-flops don't have a lot of support when you're walking on them. So as soon as you lift up your foot, walking in that manner, the sandals part on the probably a quarter of an inch part, there's no stability involved what you're wearing. So the only difference why you wear a flip-flop is because, one, they are stylish. Two, is because when you're walking on them, it creates a little bit barrier for the ground, so you're not stepping on something like a little rocks or anything like that. But they don't offer support like what a Birk will do for you. If you want kind of barefoot experience and you want to have some more a cooling sensation versus you want to wear like a running shoe during a hot summer, then Birk will be your next best thing.
What should we look for in terms of arch support and cushioning?
Birk designs are always generally similar, so there's no higher or lower. They're very mid-arch. So whether you're flat foot or you have a high arch or anything like that, it will just cut right in between the middle.
What about those sporty sandals with straps? Any pros or cons?
There's no pros or cons. It's all depending on the footbed and how it's made. So it depends on the arch of the sole itself, if it's medium or low or too high. So generally Birks are always designed kind of semi-medium, and just right amount is what you're looking for.
But is there truth regarding over-engineered footwear and that it's not good for the health of our feet?
Not necessarily. So it depends on what you're looking for over-engineering. So if you're talking about like a custom orthotic being made, that is considered over-engineering one. But they're engineered in the way we're designed to support your ankle joint depending on what you're trying to do. So if you're into sports, you're playing a lot of basketball, soccer, anything like that, the custom one that's been made is to support the way that your ankle is doing a certain motion. So it leads to less injury for the ankle joint itself. So it depends on what you're looking for. Now, during a day-to-day wear, you may not need one because your walking mechanics is the same. There's no difference. You just need a good pair of shoe. However, if the good pair of shoes still not support the way you're walking, the only thing you can do is make a custom one. That would be what you call an over-engineer one.
What about those Chinese slippers with reflexology?
So those ones don't support ankle joints. They're just meant for more like pressure releases or tissue release.
Yeah,
It's no different from you get a foam roller and you roll on your foot, or you take a tennis ball and to roll on your foot, or you can buy those spiky balls and roll on your foot. They're essentially the same thing. They're just meant to release the tissue of the tightness, but they're not meant for support in that way. They're not designed for that.
So do they actually work? Does it have any benefits for the ones who are wearing them?
So when you're wearing them, it's more about relaxing the tissue, or they're trying to stretch out the tissue, then yes, it will work on that way. But they're trying to use it for supporting the foot. No, that's not its design. It's not meant for that. It's just strictly meant for a little bit of the pain relief or tissue tension relief that they're looking.
Who needs support for the feet? Does everyone need feet support at some level?
If they are overpronated, which means that their foot in a certain way, when they're walking, they kind of slip down on the arch, those ones will need support for it. If they're overarched, means that their foot, instead of being in the neutral position, they tend to slip out. If that is, they will need support for that. But if someone that is walking neutrally, which means that when they're standing, the arch support is there, they're not overly walking on the outside or the inside, they're strictly on the heel to toe motion. There's no calluses in anywhere part of the foot or anywhere of the toes, then they're fine. They don't need one.